Mr. Shapiro has to say about the whole situation with the suit that Mr. Musk has brought against all advertisers.
Musk is now announcing that X is going to sue GARM. Now, you'll remember that I actually spoke in front of Congress about the predations of GARM, which is the Global Alliance on Responsible Media, which is effectively a front group for censorship. Basically, a bunch of advertisers and their advertising agencies go to GARM, and they created a third-party standard setter who sets false standards and suggests that anything that's on the right is unworthy of receiving advertising dollars, and everything on the left is basically safe.
That's not, oh my God, we opened up GARM. Did I close it out? I closed it out. Dang. It's not about left or right. It's about things that the advertisers want their ads next to. And a lot of people, but it's about like what the advertisers want their ads next to. And they don't want it next to porn. They don't want it next to child pornography. They don't want it next to violent speech, and they don't want their advertisements next to misinformation that gets people to go around and riot about stupid stuff and do political violence because of the misinformation. They don't want their ads associated with that. Just like in the Adpocalypse, there were a bunch of kid things that were on YouTube that kids were watching, and they were very, very strange, and the advertisers did not want their advertisements on those videos. Weird, like anti-Semitic things or racist things or sexual things. People don't want their advertisements next to those things. The example that I brought up earlier was if there was a billboard that was just a normal billboard, but at the very top they had welded on a wrought iron swastika, that billboard owner wouldn't be able to sue like people in a small town for not advertising on their billboard. If there was a group of like people or like a group that managed advertising for that small town, they didn't want to advertise on that billboard, they wouldn't be able to sue that group because they don't want their advertisement under the swastika.
Elon Musk is now announcing that X is going to sue GARM. Now, you'll remember that I actually spoke in front of Congress about the predations of GARM, which is the Global Alliance on Responsible Media, which is effectively a front group for censorship. Basically, a bunch of advertisers and their advertising agencies go to GARM, and they created a third-party standard setter who sets false standards and suggests that anything that's on the right is unworthy of receiving advertising dollars, and everything on the left is basically safe.
That's not what their standards are. You're lying blatantly. We looked at it earlier on stream. One second. Let me go into my history here and just like pull it up. Why don't we just like pull up the history? Scroll down. Oh, wait, hold on. It was a PDF download. GARM. We pulled it up. This document is designed to provide advertising industry participants with a common structure for evaluating the brand safety and suitability of an ad placement relative to an ad's position to nearby content within specific media formats. GARM is an industry-first effort that unites marketers, media agencies, media platforms, and industry associations to safeguard the potential of digital media by reducing the availability and monetization of harmful content online. These steps are essential to create safer digital media environments, create a safer digital media environment that enriches society through content, communications, and commerce. Blah, blah, blah. A common framework of shared definitions known as the GARM Brand Safety Floor and Suitability Framework. Really? 404? Well, we have the things in this, but that foundational framework set out an agreed set of sensitive content categories with different risk levels, each with monetization guidelines that range from content that is not suitable for advertising, the brand safety floor, to content that is suitable to be eligible for monetization but may present varying degrees of sensitivity to the advertiser. Suitability framework. So, like, basically what they're saying is, if you have a social media site, say this is your page, and you have, your logo right here, and let's just like make one up right here. Let's say it's like your home page, and then there's a search function, and then there's like direct messages, right? And then you have post, you have another post, you got a meme right here. God, I'm such a great artist. And then you've got an ad. What they're saying is, if you want to like have our advertisements on your platform, yeah, that's totally fine. But if you're going to have all sorts of sensitive media, okay. Sorry. We're gonna 1 second. There we go. Thanks for that, loser. So you have your social media page, and here's an ad here at the bottom. What they're basically saying is, well, this ad right here is totally fine if this is acceptable media, if this is acceptable media, if the thing below is acceptable media. The proximity, how adjacent it is to something that is unacceptable. Let's say that, and we'll number them. And basically what they're saying is, your advertisement right here can't be within, let's say that this one is flagged, gets a red flag for bad content, right? It's a racist meme. It has a swastika in it. Or it's someone saying, kill all the Jews or something, right? Something really inappropriate, something really bad. What GARM is basically saying is, well, this ad can't be within 4 posts of something that is unacceptable. So we have 1, 2, 3. We're only 3. So this ad, we're going to pull it if we start seeing evidence that flagged content like this is being showed really close to the ad, right? And I don't know if it's like specifically 1, 2, or 3 or anything like that, but I'm just giving an example. Now, let's say that, all of these are totally fine, then this ad wouldn't get pulled, right? But if any of these 3, because we're saying that it can't be adjacent to within 4 posts of any like bad information, bad content, something that's sexual, and this is a advertisement for a child's toy or something, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, then, as long as 4 posts in either direction are fine, should be fine. And if the platform itself will take steps to remove the kind of flagged content that these advertisers don't want, then they are more willing to advertise on that platform. So as long as you don't have a bunch of weird misinformation or racist things or, things along that nature in close proximity or adjacent to the ad, you're probably fine. Unfortunately, Twitter doesn't meet the standards that they have for their brands to feel safe being on that platform. And what are the different categories? Well, let's zoom in. We have adult and explicit sexual content. So if you have like a children's toy or something like that, you probably don't want adult and explicit sexual content near that. Arms and ammunition, probably the same thing with kids, right? Or if you're like, a school and then it's right after a school shooting and you're being presented right next to an ad for like ammunition. It's probably a bad look for that company. Crime and harmful acts of individuals in society, human rights violations, death, injury, or military conflict, online piracy, hate speech and acts of aggression, obscenity and profanity, illegal drugs, tobacco, e-cigarettes, vaping. You get the gist, right? Terrorism, misinformation, debated sensitive social issue, right? All these things are what you could get flagged for. And while they recognize some of these things are going to be on these websites anyways, like taking steps as a platform to not have the advertisements that you have within X amount of posts. Like if you don't want to take any steps towards that, then the advertisers aren't going to advertise with you. Now you can say, oh, well, they're like trying to impose their speech. No, well, maybe in some ways, and maybe in other ways, it's not really like that. Maybe advertisers shouldn't be forced to advertise on something that they don't want to be associated with their brand. Which is why this lawsuit is so stupid. Because again, you can't force someone to advertise on your platform.
X is alleging that companies including CVS, Mars, and Unilever conspired to withhold billions of dollars in a massive advertising boycott to force the platform formerly known as Twitter to maintain certain safety standards, according to a complaint filed Tuesday in Texas's Northern District. At least 18 brands associated with the coalition stopped advertising on Twitter from November 2022 through December 2022, according to the lawsuit. X said the coalition violated antitrust laws by having its members agree to a boycott, which X called a coercive exercise of market power. Now again, pressure on GARM would be a good thing. Advertisers, advertising agencies are depriving their own companies of access to a full audience by participating in this sort of stupid anti-right-wing censorship.
It's not anti-right-wing. If there was left-wing terrorism like glorification, they wouldn't want their advertisements next to that. It also says any sensitive social topic, doesn't want it near that. Now, how these things are weighted necessarily, I don't know, because I don't have that information. I don't have that information. Nearly 9 in 10 media buyers expressed a need for cross-platform format consistency. Advertisers and agencies wanted a single standard, but how they like rate these things, I'm not sure. Oh wait, hold on. Format, feed. This covers content, text, video, image, audio that is featured in a news feed or timeline environment, irrespective of the screen being mobile or computer. Adjacency standard, spatial. Minimum adjacency unit, ±1. Adjacency controls should apply to individual and or group feed timeline. Comments on videos are not a focus for suitability controls, but platform must be able to uphold floor on videos. So they're saying ±1. So in the paint thing, you just can't, you can actually have the negative or the like bad content on number 2. You just can't have it on number 3. For which one? In the feed. Stories, same thing, ±1. You can't have it directly adjacent next to something that is bad. Temporal. Video in-stream. This is pre-recorded video content that is uploaded to a website or platform that features ads before, in between, or after specified video content. So they don't want their advertisements on that video at all because it's temporal. It's where it is like in the timeline. Killer Seek is currently on a 5-stream streak. I didn't know they have those now. Let's see here. Audio in stream. Adjacency controls should apply to pre, mid, post, and parallel ad units. Comments on content are not a focus or suitability controls. Okay, I'm not sure if I quite understand this one as much. Same as ad unit length. How many random streamers am I finding? Well, you found another one, buddy. Congratulations. Look at this amazing art that I just made. Aren't you proud of me? So that's basically what it is. And it's actually a lot more lenient than I thought it was because I was using the example of ±4. So it's only ±1. 1 second. All right. So now that we actually know what the standards are, Jesus, it's actually so much better. It's so much better for the for the platforms than I thought. I thought it was going to be way more like strict.
Of course, Democratic government actors are perfectly on board with this. They will drag in various companies, social media companies particularly, and yell at them if they allow the prevalence of a right-wing social media post, for example, or if people advertise on right-wing media.
I'm sorry, was it ever about right-wing stuff, or was it about misinformation, or was it, or you know, like the Christ? This organization was founded in response to the Christchurch shooter, live streaming his terrorist attack to Facebook, and so they made this in response to that. Is that something that you think is protected speech, Ben?
Media. They will then go after those advertisers in a secondary boycott style. Congress, of course, has been having meetings for years, trying to put pressure on social media tech bros, putting pressure on advertisers and all the rest, and they respond by cutting off money to the right side of the aisle. It is a soft scheme of government pressure that the left has become quite practiced in. And Musk pushing back, us pushing back.
You're like, this is just like tacitly admitting that all of the shit that you guys push, all of the false facts that you guys push are false, that you spread misinformation. Like you're just like admitting that without knowing that you're admitting it.
Over in Congress is a good thing that is going to open the spigot and allow for more speech, not less. There's only one cell phone company that gives you free premium access to the media you actually care about. That is Pure Talk. This might
a full third of this 5-minute video is an advertisement.
Every white Jewish guy wishes you were black. Tall. Was Ben Stiller. Come on, Ben Stiller. How about that?
Really? That's all you had to say about GARM? Less than 2 minutes on it? And it's just whining? This is my channel. I talk about politics. I am a political science student working towards getting my degree. I am working on becoming a more compassionate person. I did a good job of that for a while, and then I lost it. And I'm trying to find the compassion again. Okay, because I love all people, but right now it's becoming hard. All right. I used to live in Texas. I just moved across the entire country. So this is my only source of income. So if you guys want to help a brother out by using, I don't know, like the Prime Subarino, all right, I would really appreciate that, especially since this is the last day of July. If you guys want to help me out and help a brother out who is unemployed, looking for work in a state that he's never even been in, hook a brother up. Use that donation link. Use that sub button. Let's go. Left the promised land for Hobo Land number 2.